In this lesson, you'll learn 3 wonderful ways to play Let It Snow. We'll start with a fun strumming pattern and then move into 2 beautiful finger-picking patterns. Each of these 3 patterns consists of 8 beats, and every line of this song consists of 8 beats. So you can pick any one pattern to play through the entire song, or you can alternate between patterns. In some lines of the song, we'll play our entire patterns on one chord, and on other lines, we'll change chords within patterns. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. I'm Lara, and I'm a musician, composer, and a ukulele teacher. I hope you enjoy exploring my song tutorials and arrangements. In this lesson, I'm playing a tenor with low G tuning. If you have a high G on your instrument, you can follow this entire lesson. Just keep in mind that the patterns will sound a bit different on your instrument, particularly the finger-picking patterns, because your 4th string is 1 octave higher than mine. After the tutorial on our patterns and how to play the song, I hope you'll join me for a play-along where I'll play through the entire song and you can play along with me. Now let's start by taking a look at the chords in this song and how to play them. If you're already familiar with these chords, then skip ahead to our first pattern. Our first chord is C, 3rd fret of the 1st string. Then we have G7. I'm playing G7 with my index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string and my middle and ring fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 1. Then we have our G chord. Here I have my middle and index fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 1 and my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Next we have D7. Here I have my index and middle fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 4 and 2. Then we have D minor. For D minor, I have my index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string and my middle and ring fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 4. Next we have A minor. A minor is only the 2nd fret of the 4th string. In this song, this chord only comes up 1 time and will move into A minor from G. So I find it easy to play A minor with my index finger. And then our final chord is A7. This is the 1st fret of the 3rd string, which I'm playing with my index finger. Throughout this lesson, the chords, lyrics, and patterns will be on screen. You can download all of this as a PDF from my Patreon page, along with my songbook covering all of the song tutorials that I've shared. You'll find the link down below in the video description. Now we're moving into our first pattern, which is a wonderful strumming pattern. Let's take a close look at this one and how to apply it to our first verse. Here's our strumming pattern played on a C chord. To play this pattern, we'll start with 4 down strums, followed by 1 up strum and then 1 more down strum. Down, 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 up, down. This pattern covers 8 beats, and the count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. So the down strums happen on beats 1, 3, 5, 6, and 7. And the 1 up strum happens on the and between beats 6 and 7. Here's how this pattern sounds when we bring it up to the tempo of this song. Applying our first strumming pattern to line 1, we'll start on our C chord with our first down strum. This C chord is held for 2 beats, and then we go to our G7 chord for our second down strum in beats 3 and 4. Then we finish this pattern back on our C chord. Adding in the count to this first line looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. For line 2 of the verses, we'll start on our G chord for 2 beats. Then we'll go to our D7 chord for 2 beats and our second down strum. And then we'll go back to our G chord for 4 beats to finish the pattern. Adding in the count to this second line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. For line 3 of the verses, we'll play the entire pattern on our D minor chord. And then moving into line 4, we're going to our G7 chord for 4 beats, so we'll play our first 2 down strums on G7, and then we'll go to our C chord for the rest of the pattern. So counting out this fourth line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. Now I'll play through verse 1, adding in the lyrics, but first I want to mention the introduction to the song. We have a very short intro here, doing 2 down strums on C, 1 down strum on D minor, and then 1 down strum on G7. If you're going to fingerpick this song, then you can pick all 4 strings on each of these chords. So twice on C, once on D minor, and once on G7. Each of these chords is held for 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now here's the introduction through verse 1. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Now we're moving into our second pattern, which is a fingerpicking pattern. Let's look at this pattern and how to apply it to our second verse. Here's our second pattern played on a C chord. I'm starting by picking strings 1, 2, and 3 together with my ring, middle, and index fingers. Then I'll do this 2 more times. Then I'll pick string 4 with my thumb and finish on strings 1, 2, and 3 once more. The rhythm of this pattern is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bringing this pattern up to the tempo of this song will sound like this. Now let's look at how to apply this pattern to the verses. So looking at verse 2, we'll start on our C chord for 2 beats, then we'll go to G7 for our next chord, also for 2 beats, and then we'll go back to C for the remainder of the pattern. So counting out this first line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In line 2, we'll start on our G chord for 2 beats. then D7 for 2 beats, and then we'll finish the pattern back on our G chord. So the count here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In line 3, we'll play our entire pattern on D minor. And then in line 4, we'll play our G7 chord for 4 beats. So the first 2 chords on G7, and then we'll finish the pattern on C. So here's the count for line 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now adding in the lyrics to verse 2. It doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. If you're feeling generous as we're moving into the holiday season and you'd like to support my channel, then see the description below for an easy way to buy me a coffee. And now we've come to our third and final pattern. This pattern is so much fun to play. It's my favorite of the 3. So let's look at this pattern and how to apply it to the bridge of the song. Here's our third pattern played slowly on a C chord. I'm starting by picking strings 4, 3, and then 1 and 2 together. Then I'll repeat that. Then I'm picking strings 4, 3, and 2. Back to string 3. And then we finish on strings 1 and 2 together. The rhythm of this pattern is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and. Bringing this pattern up to the tempo of this song will sound like this. Look at the bridge. We're starting on our G chord in line 1, and we'll play our full pattern on G. In line 2, we're going to our A minor chord for 4 beats, so the first half of our pattern. And then we go back to our G chord for the second half of the pattern. So here's how it looks to count line 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In line 3, we're staying on our G chord and we'll play our full pattern just like in line 1. In line 4, our A7 chord is held for 2 beats, and our D7 chord is held for 2 beats. And then we play the rest of the pattern on G. So here's how it looks to count out line 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now adding in the lyrics to the bridge. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. Now we have just one more section of the song to cover, and that's our third verse. This verse is played the same way as verses 1 and 2. So let's look at how to play verse 3 applying our third pattern. Applying our third pattern to verse 3, we'll start on our C chord for the first 2 beats. Then we'll go to G7 for the next 2 beats. And then we'll finish the pattern on C. So counting out this line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In line 2, we'll play our G chord for the first 2 beats, then D7 for the next 2 beats, and then back to G for the remaining 4 beats. So counting out this line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In line 3, we'll play our entire pattern on D minor, and then in line 4, we're going to our G7 chord for the first 4 beats, and then we'll finish this pattern on our C chord. So counting out line 4 looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now here's verse 3 using our third pattern. The fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Now moving into our play along, I'm going to play through the entire song twice. The first time will be instrumental only, so you can really hear how I move back and forth between the different patterns and chords. The second time, I'll add in the lyrics. For the tempo of this song, I'm targeting 100 beats per minute. 5, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. The fire is slowly dying. snow, let it snow, let it snow. I hope you've enjoyed learning these 3 wonderful patterns to play Let It Snow. Happy holidays, and thanks for watching. But as long as you love me so,